Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of this mini-series. Now in part 1 we looked at Swindon works. But what about the workers themselves? Well, for them the Great Western provided a railway village. This is Swindon Showcase. The village was laid out by Daniel Gooch and given the name New Swindon. Its architect was Sir Matthew Digby Wyatt, who designed Paddington and was provided with a marketplace selling fresh produce at low prices and a summer fete. Swindon Station opened in 1842 and designed by Brunel. It had 2 island platforms with identical buildings and a refreshment room, as this was the only stop on the way to Bristol. The basement housed the kitchens, the ground floor was for passengers, and the upper floors were guest rooms. The first 300 cottages were laid out on a grid. The village was built in 2 stages between 1842 and 1855, with the west side being completed first and each row having shops at each end. These 2-storey cottages were built from coarse limestone with this beautiful dressed frontage, and some of this stone actually came from Box Tunnel. Also, as an additional luxury, they also had a front garden. This building, known as the Barracks, was provided for single male workers. Inside were 100 rooms, a day room, kitchen and a bakery. Unfortunately, the building proved to be unpopular and converted into a Methodist chapel in 1868 when the towers were erected. From 1962 to 2000 it housed the GWR Museum and is now a youth hostel. One of the most important buildings in the railway village is of course the Mechanics Institute, funded by Daniel Gooch and the New Swindon Improvement Company as a means of providing entertainment and education. Inside were coffee and mess rooms, baths and a theatre. It also had a library, beating the first council library, which wasn't established in Salford until 1852. The Institute also offered lectures and classes for apprentices. A market was located on the south side, replaced in 1892 when the reading room was enlarged. An additional reading room was constructed in 1904 inside the works, which also had a hall and games room. The GWR was also interested in education from a young age, and this is the oldest school in the village from 1843. A fee applied to the first 4 children, but was free afterwards. Becoming an infant school in 1857, it closed in 1879, becoming the Works Laboratory. Now, some of Britain's historical workers' towns were built by Quakers who don't drink. But not the Great Western. They built a series of pubs and hotels, such as the Glue Pot, to provide refreshments for passengers, workers and residents of the old town. Opposite the station is the Great Western Hotel from 1870. Built in a Gothic revival style, it was run by the brewers Messrs Arkell and Son, who made alterations in 1876 and added an extension in 1896. Religion was a key focal point in the Victorian era, and a church was provided inside the works. However, a larger Anglican church was later paid for by public subscription. Dedicated to St Mark and designed in a Gothic style by Sir George Gilbert Scott and William Moffat, the church was extended in 1897. Another area where the Great Western was a world leader was in healthcare. This building was constructed in 1862, originally as an armoury and drill hall, but was converted into an accident hospital in 1871. Funding for the building came from a small fee out of the workers' wages and was subsidised by the GWR's Medical Fund, which had started in 1847. In 1891, the Medical Fund moved into this building, the Health Hydro, which had consultation rooms, a dispensary and provided dental care. It also had 2 swimming pools, with Turkish and Russian baths being added in 1904. The building also has national importance because all of this provided the blueprint later on for the National Health Service. Park House was the home of the Chief Medical Officer, who had his own surgery. He also passed out future employees and undertook regular examinations of the workforce. In 1870, a subway was constructed for the 14,000 workers as a direct link between the village and the works. The facade is in the Swindon house style, being erected next to the Carriage Works trimming shop. Outdoor recreation came in 1844 with the acquisition of farmland to create a park and cricket ground. By 1871, it measured 10.5 acres, with formal gardens and greenhouses. 1935 saw the opening of a sports ground and pavilion. The GWR's recreational facilities were continued by BR's Western Region, with these gates dating from 1950. The grounds closed in 2005. The village itself was acquired by Swindon Council in 1966, with the houses being modernised internally. In 2019, a heritage sector zone was set up by Historic England and Swindon Borough Council to look after the buildings for future use. Coming up in the final part of this series, we'll visit the Swindon and Crickledge Railway. And be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment and follow me on Facebook. Link in the description. Bye for now.